Alright everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Jordan Report, and I'm your host, Robert Jordan. Please like, subscribe, and share. It's very important. Alright, I'm going to do a video on citizens arming themselves. Since we all know these Democrat cities are turning into hellholes, or already hellholes, and the people are getting very desperate. So these people being forced to arm themselves. I mean, it's a natural human reaction. And I'm going to start in San Francisco, where a group of Chinese who are being victimized are arming themselves because they're tired of being victimized. This was August 7, 2019. San Francisco Chinese group promotes gun ownership after community's crime scare. San Francisco, would you believe there's a renewed gun rights movement rooted here in our liberal city by the bay? And it's growing, albeit gingerly, among one of our oldest groups, the San Francisco Chinese community. Now, let me not sensationalize. The numbers of folks involved are still in the hundreds, according to organizers. But growing fears create an environment ripe for growth. If you read Chinese language newspaper, a perception of rising crime against Chinese locals is the hot story of the moment. If you guys don't know what's going on in San Francisco, please do a background check. The place is a mess, so I could understand why the Chinese would feel this way. Statistics have not yet borne out a rise in crime against Chinese community, but a handful of crimes have been high profile enough to stir people mightily. From a 74-year-old woman kidnapped in Crocker, Amazon, and raped for almost 5 hours. From a 74-year-old woman kidnapped in Crocker, Amazon, and raped for almost 5 hours, to the public daytime beating and robbery of a 56-year-old chairman of the Wong Family Benevolent Association. Violent crime has gripped local Chinese news media and its audience in recent months. Wendy Wong, for one, is fed up, feeling like a victim, she told me. 32-year-old Sunset District resident and her group, the Coalition for Good Neighbors, are organizing gun education meetings for the San Francisco Chinese community. If the police are not able to enforce the law, if the victims are not protected, and we have been victimized again, and again, it's about time for us to unify and see how we protect themselves. See how we can protect themselves, she said. She told me she isn't a pro-gun person. I'm not like that. Eye for an eye is not what I believe in, she said. But the recent high-profile attacks, people in the Chinese community are paralyzed by fear, she said. I was raised in California. I know Asian people very well, and they're usually very practical. So when they say things like this, you have to take them serious. It's very hard to convince them to do something that doesn't make any sense. Mayoral candidate Ellen Lee Zhu also backs arming the Chinese. This was the lady at the top of their article. I'll show you her clip later. She's running for mayor, or has run for mayor, let me put it that way. While some outside the Chinese community may discount Zhu's influence, calling her a long shot candidate, she finished 2018's mayoral race with a respectable 9,521 votes citywide and enjoys regular media exposure in local Chinese language media. So while she may not have gotten in spitting distance of Breed's votes last year, she still has a stage. This is what she said. Can you imagine if all Asian people owned a gun? And they could protect themselves, she told me Wednesday, with a lilt in her voice, conveying this would be her utopia. I, of course, had to push back. What about all the recent mass shootings? Didn't more guns in our society make that possible? Think of Gilroy, I said. She said, the people who shoot at us, the mass shootings, they'll always get guns. Because they're bad, she answered. Good people like you and me who have common sense, if we could carry, we would come out and defend ourselves. All right, I'm going to show you a quick clip on her, and then I'm going to move to the next story because this is all related, and this is all going back to these Democrat cities.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is March 17, 2019. It's a Sunday afternoon. We had a team in here joining the Cow Palace Gun Show. And the reason we're joining the gun show is very simple. San Francisco has been lawless, out of order. The local government representatives has been out of control. They do not obey the United States Constitution. If you think the government is going to protect you with the way that we are going, they're not going to protect you. You need to learn how to protect yourself. And that's why we joined the gun show. And for the purpose of demonstration, I do. A gun is for people to protect families, protect your country, and protect your city. I'm telling you, I'm a government employee myself. I have been for the last 15 years. There is so much corruption we see. When I become a mayor, I will be representing you. We're going to clean up City Hall for you.
Did you hear that? She's absolutely right. Now this is another mayoral candidate. This brother is in Chicago. He's promoting the same thing. He's saying the place is so dangerous that the people better arm themselves. The government cannot protect their citizens. This is what we have a Second Amendment for, people. So we can protect ourselves. A Democrat state rep from Chicago wants residents to arm themselves. Democrat State Representative LaShawn Ford wants people in his neighborhood in Chicago to acquire more concealed carry licenses. Ford ran for mayor. AmmoLand notes that Ford favors more tax money going to Chicago from the state of Illinois. And from the federal government, he thinks there are plenty of police in Chicago and they should have more controls on what they do. However, the state rep is having a change of heart on the gun issue. On WLS AM, Ford told the Mancow Show that he is encouraging his constituents to arm themselves in face of Chicago's growing violence. Ford specifically said, "I think about it all the time. That's why I'm working with a concealed carry instructor, and we're going to go through the neighborhood and we're going to encourage people to get their concealed carry license because it makes no sense for people not to have the protections that they need." He's absolutely right. If we're going to be safe in these cities, we cannot wait for the Democrats to do it. Too many of us are being killed. Now, here's another one. Here's a prime example of what could be. And this is here in Dallas. I live here in Texas, but I don't live in Dallas, but I know of this area. And this is what some people are doing here in Dallas. They've had enough of the crime, so they formed some armed community patrols.
Protecting and serving. They're not trying to replace police, but sometimes they're armed. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cynthia Aguirre.
And I'm Chris Lawrence. The men say they're protecting their community, and you can find them patrolling the streets in Oak Cliff, specifically the area around Highland Hills. Rebecca Lopez went to check it out.
Anybody in the apartment?
They say they are tired of crime here.
Come on out.
So they're taking matters into their own hands.
So we're not here policing or being security guards. We're coming in as brothers.
They call themselves community engagement activists. They have armed themselves and openly carry weapons around the Highland Park apartments in southern Dallas. And they work in shifts. They're looking to stop trouble and crime.
We're not trying to come out here and police anybody. We're not trying to intimidate anybody. We just want to let them know that we're an extra resource that they have in terms of their safety and security.
Like, this is one of our problem, vacant apartments.
For a month, they've been patrolling. They say not once have they seen any of the DPS troopers who are helping Dallas police with the summer crime. And they say DPD officers take too long to get here when they need them. The apartment management welcomes them.
These guys being here, things have been getting a whole lot better here on the complex.
Residents agree and say they feel better about letting their kids come out and play.
I really think it's good they've been walking around.
The volunteers say they are also cleaning up the apartments with beautification days and helping families with school supplies. They say police can't fight crime alone, so they are here to help. It's no secret that the Dallas Police Department needs more officers. It's also a department that is in complete disarray, and so citizens are trying to come up with ways to fight their own high crime in their neighborhoods. Now, commanders I talked to today say they welcome neighbors and residents taking initiative, but they do not want them confronting dangerous criminals because they don't want anyone getting hurt. That's a job for police. Back to
All right. See, the black man is not dead yet. And so there's some that's standing up and trying to protect where they live. We should pray for these brothers and support them where we can.